Hey, what's happening there? It's me, Sprax again. How y'all doing? As y'all see, this video kind of looks a little different. And it's different because, well, I lost my phone. I lost the phone that I use to mainly record my videos, and that had all my other stuff of it, according to 4 years worth of my life, which was my Sony Xperia 1 III. And because of that, well, we're going to talk about the lack of repairability of things, how annoying that can be, and how it wasn't my fault that I lost my phone. Because I'm not taking any accountability of that. It's Sony's fault. It's Sony and consumerism's fault. But all jokes aside, we're going to get into the story of what happened, how it happened on me losing my phone and everything, and how it relates to the lack of repairability when it comes to certain things, and just how annoying that is because we have so much electronic waste and stuff that we just don't. I just feel that we don't deal with properly, and is completely unnecessary other than making companies money. So for pretty much every video I've uploaded for like the last 3 years, it was done on my Sony Xperia 1 III, which was a phone that I bought when the iPhone I had broke. I still have the iPhone, but it's the second time it broke. And that was when I was still living in a car. So I was like, it just isn't worth fixing it. If I fix it, I'm going to fix it on my own time. By the way, that iPhone I got for free, family member gave it to me. So it wasn't really that much of a loss or anything. The Xperia was, because I paid about $800 or $900 for it. And I like that phone. It's a really good phone. The reason I even bought that phone is because it had repairability. It had repairability and usability. So when I looked it up, I saw that you could easily replace the battery. You don't have to worry about adhesives and everything. And the way I use my phones, I use them a lot. I use my electronics a lot. So I knew eventually the battery's going to burn out faster than usual. Also, it has 2 SIM card slots, a headphone jack, all the other stuff. Things that I like. I like my things physical, not electrical, or whatever the word I'm looking for is. So like an eSIM, I don't want a phone with an eSIM. Give me a physical slot and everything. Of course, though, the negative on that is when your phone is like the Xperia 1 III, a phone that does have heat issues. Eventually, over about 2 years, you could have problems, which I started having, which was the SIM card reader slot stopped. It started acting up. So it started happening like a few months back. So I understood that eventually it was going to probably burn itself out, and I needed to replace it, maybe even replace the board, whatever. So, I would scour the internet, AliExpress and other stuff, trying to find the parts, and I just could not find them. Now, maybe there was a website I missed. It could be, because it's a lot, but I couldn't find it. And I was mainly looking like on Europe and whatnot, because I know Europe has better regulations when it comes to those things, especially because they just made a new law in the European Union saying that for 6 or 7 years, manufacturers have to provide parts. But we don't really have that in the United States, or any regulations really. But even though my phone's kind of niche, it really isn't that old. It came out 2019 or whatever. So I'm like, all right, I should still be able to find parts for it. And unfortunately, I couldn't. The only thing that you really could do is through Sony, you contact this third-party vendor who doesn't even have a website. You have to call them, and then you send your phone into them, wait however long, and they'll send it back. Which, quite honestly, I think is just dumb. Like, I don't like that type of system. I don't like what Apple does either, which is why I don't use iPhones anymore, even though all the iPhones I got were free. Family gave them to me because I am a cheap phone person, and they were like, you got to stop with this, right? And then when they would upgrade, they would give me their stuff, and I'm like, cool, whatever. But I did not like what Apple's system would do, because I've had times like where phones were acting up, digitizer might be acting up, or some other stuff, and they'll just be like, oh, we can't fix this. You gotta buy a new one. No, I don't want to buy a new one. I know this could be fixed. All right, you're just wasting my time. In the case of the Sony system, don't gotta buy a new one for the most part, but it's like, still just allow me to be able to buy the part. Why do I gotta call? The people don't even have a website. Why do I have to call? Why can't I just go on, click whatever? They're your third party. You deal with them. They should just have a site. I could find a part, order the part. There we go. Problem solved. I would rather it be that simple. Well, of course, money and everything means that it's never going to be. But I digress. SIM card burns out the 26. I still use the phone as a payment processor because my timing and my luck is terrible, and my debit card was acting up, so I order a new one. And then I dropped the phone somewhere around the 31st, and there we go. It's gone. And before I continue, it does kind of suck that I lost it, because I had like 4 years worth of stuff in there, as well as a lot of ideas and things for like this channel and stuff. But whatever, I digress. Getting back on the topic, it's what really makes these things annoying, like when stuff happens, when you can't like find replacement parts or whatnot, is the fact that the device itself, you have the sunken cost fallacy of the device, which means like, so I paid, like, as I said, like $800 or $900 for it, somewhere around that money, maybe a little less. And the device itself was still useful. So when I was really deciding, like, what am I going to do? Am I going to replace it? Am I going to try to find a part or whatnot? I was stuck with the fact that, like, this thing is still useful. Before the SIM card completely burnt out, and it was just like I was having issues, so I'd have to take the SIM card out and put it back in, which other people have had. So this is definitely a device problem, but it's this thing is useful. I still get use out of this. When it's connecting, I can still play my games and use it as a camera, make my phone calls and everything else. When it's acting up, I can still connect it to Wi-Fi and I still have a lot of use for it. So if it's still useful, why would I want to replace this thing I paid almost $1,000 for with another one that I'm going to have to pay like almost $1,000 for unless I catch a deal on it, when this one right here just needs a part replaced and it will be good again? And that has always been my frustration and dilemma when it comes to, say, electronics. Like, for example, you buy a TV, you crack the TV, you're pretty much screwed. Especially in the era of having smart TVs, which are not really safe to use, but I digress. So you have a TV that you connect to all your Wi-Fi stuff and whatnot, and then something happens, you accidentally crack the screen. You can't really replace the screen. And I get it, the display costs like a lot of money or whatnot. But when the TV started having more components and stuff rather than just your capacitors, transistors, and whatnot, then it's like, okay, there should be a way for me to replace the screen. At least in my opinion, I feel that way, that you should be able to replace the screen rather than just have to now buy another $300-$400 depending on how big the TV is. I don't really know the prices. I do not buy televisions. All my friends can vouch this. I don't buy TVs. TVs only serve as monitors for me for my workstation or as something to put my laptop and video games to. That's the only time you'll ever see me use TVs. So my prices might be a little bit off, but this is actually something I went through when I was going through like back and forth to college, and I had TVs like, that family didn't use anymore and had like a smart TV and everything. And unfortunately it got cracked when I was moving, and then I'm looking at it and I'm like, damn, this thing's broken. Like the displays part is broken, but it's like all the components in there, the PCB and everything else, are not like, it's not like they're useless. And it's for that very same reason why I stay with my 2012 Camry, because if you made it this far, and if you're somebody that, has been here for a while, which thank you, because once again, I do not upload frequently at all. What has happened is, since I came back from not living in the car anymore, I moved back to society and whatnot, the last year and a half, my car has been hit multiple times. None of them were my fault at all. In fact, I just dodged 2 car accidents yesterday to where my friends were like, not only are you cursed, we think this is like a final destination thing where your car was supposed to die, and you being a active and aware driver preventing these accidents from happen is basically the car grim reaper, being pissed off and now trying to kill the car even more, kind of like the movies, right? This is this is an actual conversation I had not even 12 hours ago. But with my car, the reason I stay with that car, even though family members like my sister and other, but like just sell the car, replace it, is the fact that it's repairable. Pretty much all the damage on the car. So the person I backed into my car one night when I was asleep and destroyed the headlights, I can fix that. I already have a new headlight. The fenders, I can fix that. Any electrical things, I can pretty much fix that. Hell, if I wanted to say, I don't know, turn the car into a sleeper Camry, right? And the fact that the ECU is locked is being the issue because Toyota is like that. I could, I don't know, replace the ECU with a different one. Maybe something like, I don't know, a Haltech. And guess what? It wouldn't really be a problem. I can pretty much fix anything on there. So I stay with that because the fact that I can repair it means I don't have to deal with the issues that are happening with new cars where dealerships are starting to lock things down. And I don't want to deal with that. I like being able to fix the things that I have bought because it's simpler that way. If something's useful, like the car, my car is still useful, whatnot, and just has a few little dings and dents and broken parts, well, guess what? I can fix that. If something's useful, like my phone, but it just like a module's burning out, as long as it isn't like deep into the board, well, guess what? I can fix that. These things can be fixed. I don't want to spend another $1,000 or more for something new when the older thing is still very useful because it works, and the only thing it needs is just a part fixed. But clearly that's way too much to ask for, because companies understand the fact that your average consumer is, if they don't have any options, they're just going to buy something new. I'm not that person though. I will never be that person, so I guess I just got to deal with this dilemma because I'm cheap and I'm never going to stop being cheap. Okay, bye bye, see you in the next one.